Everyone, good afternoon. Narinig po ba ako? Am I
Yes po.
audible?
Yes po.
Ayun. Alright, thank you so much. Ayan, so welcome everyone. This is my first time conducting a class with you all. And if I'm not mistaken, this is also your first lecture for the semester. Ayan, so welcome. It's nice to meet you all. Na-meet ko na rin kayo sa orientation. So once again, I'm Mentor Abby and I will be your mentor for today. So bale kaming tatlo ni Mentor Angela tsaka ni Mentor Josh. Ano tawag dito? So we will be your mentors throughout the semester. Lahat po kami ay product ng Ray Agapo Service System. So we partnered with Dean Iris in conducting the competency appraisal class or course audit. Okay? Ayan. So ano yun? Yun lang. Brief introduction. So ayan po. Let's start our class with a short pretest. Okay, so Sir Daniel, paki-flash po ng timer bago ko isend yung link. Sige, wait po Sir Daniel. Habang ikakopy ko lang yung link ng ano. Ayan sir, 20 minutes na lang po. Okay. So guys, please finish your pretest within 20 minutes. So wala pong malilate ng submit because after 20 minutes, I will be closing the form. Okay, so here's the link. So you may start answering. Thank you. first, so the concept that we will be talking about today is going to be about respiratory system tayo. Okay, so ayan. So before I start, so some of you may be wondering who I am. So maliban sa alam niyo na ang pangalan ko. So my name is Mentor Abby. I've been teaching under the Igapo Service System for about 3 years now. And I have handled this is my third year of handling the CA class of CUP for the fourth year students. So we're no stranger to mga student concerns and handling yung ganitong types of class. So if you have any concerns, so please do let me know. I think I noticed kanina may dalawang nagsagot from section A. So please, kayo po ba talaga ay section A or nalipat kayo? Because iba ang topic na na-discuss namin for section A last week. Ha? So please make sure na tama yung sections na nilalagay ninyo, ha? Okay. Ayan. So sige po, let's start. So yung natin, ang pag-uusapan lang natin today about the respiratory system. We're going to focus more on diagnostics. Ayan. Diagnostics and assessment. And for another session tayo magdi-discuss more on respiratory diseases. But to start our discussion, we will start with asthma. Okay, so asthma ang isa sa mga disorders na i-discuss natin today. The rest will be more on assessment and diagnostics. So I think we're all familiar with asthma. So asthma, this is caused by inflammation and narrowing of the airways. Tapos, ano ba nagtitrigger nitong asthma na to? It could be something that you inhaled. Okay? Pwedeng na-inhale mo sa kapaligiran mo. It could be an irritant. Okay? Whether that's a chemical irritant, a naturally occurring irritant could be pollen, for example. Tapos, pag na-trigger yung airways mo, it tends to narrow because nagiging inflamed siya. And mas lalong na-obstruct ang airway mo because nagpo-produce din ng mucus. Ganun kasi nangyayari sa airway natin or sa lungs natin. Pag yan ay na-irritate, nagkaroon ng inflammation, in order to protect it, nagpo-produce siya ng mucus para ma-wash out kung ano man yung irritants. But in the case of asthma, mas lumalala po yung obstruction. Okay? So once again, asthma is characterized by inflammation and narrowing of the airways. So there is something that triggered the immune response. Okay, so it could be an allergen, could also be a respiratory infection. Kaya yung mga may asthma, ano tawag dito? Mas hirap sila pag kunyari nagkaroon sila ng pneumonia. They tend to present worse symptoms than a patient who does not have asthma. Okay? So nagkakaroon ng airway inflammation. Sinabi ko rin nagkakaroon ng mucus production and nagiging hyper-responsive ang airway. Kaya yung tendency yung mga asthmatic, mas sensitive yung mga airway nila. Madali silang ubuhin. Okay? Yan. I had that feeling before sa akin. Kasi there was a time last year na pag pumunta ako sa malalamig na lugar, natitrigger, nagkaka-hypersensitivity yung airway ko. Pero nagpa-check up ako, sinabi naman sa akin, wala naman akong asthma. So thank you Lord. At least hindi ko kailangan mag-inhale na corticosteroids. Okay? So yan. And then there will be swelling of the airway walls. And then this will lead to airway narrowing or bronchoconstriction. Okay? And the manifestations will be wheezing, coughing, breathlessness, and chest tightness. So the main sign and symptom that we're gonna look for here is wheezing. Okay? Wheezing. Yan ang napoproduce na sound kapag yung larger airways natin ay nagkakaroon ng narrowing and inflammation. Nagugulat ako sa random zoom ng camera. Ayan, so wheezing. Now, what else do we need to know about asthma? It is triggered by emotion, especially kapag stressed yung pasyente. So yes, kasi tumataas yung inflammatory markers kapag tayo ay stressed. Mapapansin nyo, pag stressed ka, dami nagmamanifest na signs and symptoms. If you're asthmatic, mas lumalala siya kapag yan ay stress. Ayan ay caused by stress. It could also be environmental factors, so could be smoke, could be pollen, and extreme temperature, lalo na kapag sobrang lamig. Kasi when it is very cold, yung airways natin, it tends to get drier as well. Kaya mas nagiging irritable. Mas madaling ma-irritate yung airways natin pag malamig. Okay? So once again, This is a condition where there is abnormal bronchial hyperactivity due to certain substances. So ano yung interventions natin for patient with asthma? So avoid the 3 E's. Ano yung E's na yon? First, exercise, especially in cold weather, because when you exercise, you also tend to breathe faster. And kung cold weather, kung malamig ang panahon, edi lalong magdadry yung airway. Environmental factors like dust, pollen, and emotional factors. So bawal ma-stress. Now, what do we advise our patient? Kapag may asthmatic attacks, advise them to sit upright and lean forward para mag-expand yung lungs natin. Then advise the patient to do pursed lip breathing. Bakit maganda gawin ang pursed lip breathing? Kasi it keeps the airway open longer during exhalation. Kasi when you do pursed lip breathing, mag-inhale ka, di ba? Inhale. Pursed lip, so you purse your lips like this, and then unti-unti kang mag-exhale through pursed lips. So kung mapapansin mo, mas matagal kang mag-exhale when you do pursed lip breathing. Okay? So maganda yan for patients with asthma and even COPD kasi mas nakaka-escape yung carbon dioxide na natatrap doon sa baga natin. Okay? Ayan. It also helps make the breathing more controlled and also it can help improve the oxygenation for an asthmatic patient. Okay? Ano pa? We have to provide frequent rest periods in between activities para hindi mabilis mapagod yung patient. Kasi these patients, you will expect them to be very short of breath, lalo na kung may asthmatic attack sila. Then administer Intal or cromolyn sodium for prevention of asthmatic attack. Okay, so pag prevention, ang pinag-uusapan natin, you give cromolyn sodium. Okay? So bibigay mo siya kung mag-anticipate ka na baka magka-asthma attack yung patient, you can give cromolyn sodium. Pero hindi na magiging effective ang cromolyn pag nangyari na talaga yung asthmatic attack. Okay? Yan. So you can give epinephrine for that or you can give another bronchodilator, okay, for that. So for example, you can give salbutamol. Okay? Salbutamol, albuterol, those are bronchodilators. Nakakatulong po sila mag-open ng airway, okay, during an asthmatic attack. Okay? Ano pa? And then instruct the client on the proper use of a metered dose inhaler. Ayan. So yung inhaler para ma-reduce yung irritation sa lungs during an asthmatic attack. Okay? Now this is a question. How should the nurse teach an asthmatic client to use the metered dose inhaler? So just follow along with me for this one. So ang unang gagawin is we shake the inhaler with its cap on para mag-mix yung medication doon sa loob ng inhaler. Okay? Then we hold the inhaler 2 to 3 inches away from the mouth. So hindi dapat nakadikit. Kasi ang tendency is, yung components, yung gamot ng inhaler, pag yan ay nag-come in contact with the oral mucosa, that could actually cause an infection. Okay? Kaya gumagamit po tayo ng spacer. Okay? And then what's next? We ask the patient to deep breathe, then press down firmly on the top of the canister and then inhale. So basically, sasabihin mo muna sa patient, deep breathing, then exhale. Pag exhale niya, papress mo siya doon sa inhaler niya tapos mag-deep inhale siya. Okay? And then, after niya mag-inhale, dapat i-hold ng patient yung breath niya for 5 to 10 seconds. Bakit? Kasi you want the particles of the medication to settle deep within the lungs. Deep within the lungs. Okay? Kasi pag in-exhale niyan, edi na-exhale niya din agad yung gamot. So sayang. Okay? So yun na yun. And then you clean the inhaler thoroughly. Kasi ayaw mo na meron siyang mag-harbor ng mga bacteria. Okay? Sige, now I'll let you answer this one. Which of the following nursing diagnosis is the priority for a client with asthma with thick mucus secretion? Anong magandang nursing diagnosis dyan? Ineffective breathing pattern, ineffective airway clearance, impaired gas exchange, or ineffective individual coping? Ano sa tingin nyo? Type in the group chat. Go guys. Di tayo mag-move on pag di kayo sumagot. Okay, this is correct. This is number 2, ineffective airway clearance. Kasi yan ang nursing diagnosis kapag masyadong maraming mucus sa airway. So for example, in a patient na nangapal na yung asthma niya, ano pang mga types of respiratory conditions na may ganito? Patients na may bronchitis, patients na meron ding COPD. Ayan, kumakapal ang mucus sa loob ng kanyang baga. Okay? Pag ineffective breathing pattern ang usapan, okay, so for example, yung patient, meron siyang tinatawag na diabetic ketoacidosis or what we know as DKA. Okay? Ano yung nagiging breathing pattern pag may DKA ka? Yung tinatawag nating, ano ba yan? Mali yung spelling. Kussmaul's breathing. Okay? Ano ba yan? Hindi makita. Alam niyo na last week ko pa ito napapansin. Yung Zoom ko hindi ako makapagsulat ng maayos. Yan, Kussmaul's breathing. So, nag-iiba yung respiratory pattern ng patient. And in that case, itong pwede mong gamitin na Nielsen diagnosis. Ma'am, paano naman kapag impaired gas exchange? Okay? Pag impaired gas exchange ang problema, pwede mo to gamitin kapag yung patient ay may problema sa kanyang ABGs, sa arterial blood gases, metabolic acidosis, metabolic alkalosis, respiratory, etc. etc. Okay? So yun yung pagkakaiba nila. Pero lahat sila pwede mong gamitin for respiratory conditions depending on the case. Okay? Next, which of the following situations can trigger an asthmatic attack? O sige nga, ano sa tingin niyo? Being scolded by the teacher, moving from cold to warm areas, drinking lukewarm water, or eating rice? Parang ang weird nung tanong, no? Okay, this is, yes, moving from cold to warm areas. So, temperature changes. Okay, so yun yung gusto nating i-highlight dito. Yung number 1. Being scolded by the teacher. Ma'am, hindi ba yun pwede kasi na-stress yung estudyante? Well, briefly lang naman kung masistress siya, no? Pero yung prolonged na exposure to stress, ayan, kunyari ilang araw ka na walang tulog, tapos napagalitan ka pa. Yan, chronic stress, yan ang usual nagtitrigger din ng asthma. Okay? But yan, temperature changes, yan ang pwede mag-trigger ng asthma attack. Okay? Manifestations, you have attacks of wheezing, shortness of breath, trouble sleeping due to shortness of breath. So hindi siya makatulog kasi hindi makahinga. Having chest tightness, so that's a sign that the airway is narrowing. Mucoid sputum and allergy-triggered coughing. Ubo siya ng ubo. Now, tandaan nyo sa asthma. A symptom that is not expected in a condition is not a symptom that is expected rather in a condition is not a nursing priority. So na bang expected natin kapag ang patient may asthma? Expected natin may wheezing yan. Expected natin may ubo yan. Expected natin may shortness of breath. So priority mo ba siya o hindi? Yes or no? Priority mo ba yung tatlo? Yes or no? Wheezing, shortness of breath, inuubo siya. Is that your priority? Hindi. Alam mo yan ang meron sa asthma. Ano ang magiging priority mo? O, tandaan niyo tong concept na to. Pag ang tanong, which of the following symptoms will be your priority? Your answer should be a complication. Okay? Complication. Ma'am, ano bang example ng complication na meron tayo sa asthma? O, di ba sabi natin expected wheezing. Okay? A complication in asthma is absence of wheezing. Bakit? Okay? Hindi porke nawala yung wheezing, okay yung patient. It just means na yung airway nag-close na. Okay? Nag-close na yung airway, wala nang makadaang hangin, therefore wala na ring ma-produce na sound. Yung larynx natin. Kasi yung larynx, di ba yun yung voice box? Kailangan may dumaan siyang hangin to produce sound. Okay? So therefore, ang complication ng asthma is absence of wheezing. So knowing that, let's have this question. Which of the following manifestations of asthma is a nursing priority? Anong isasagot mo? Anong isasagot mo? What will be your priority? Okay, very good. This one is number 4. Yan. Absence of wheezing. Alright? And sige, next. Asthma is diagnosed with spirometry, which estimates the narrowing of the bronchial tubes, and peak flow meter that measures how hard the client can breathe out. Okay, so yan. So, ma'am, ano po ba yung spirometry? Meron tayong iba ding tinatawag na incentive spirometry. But spirometry as a diagnostic test, tinitingnan yan kung gaano karaming air ang dumadaloy sa lungs mo. Okay? Sa madaling salita. Ma'am, ano naman yung peak flow meter? Okay? Kung spirometry, chinecheck niyan through inhalation. Ang peak flow meter, chinecheck niyan through exhalation. Kung gaano karaming hangin ang lumalabas sa baga ng pasyente pag siya ay nag-exhale. Okay? So that is the peak flow meter. Okay? Yan. So spirometry and peak flow meter. Okay? Ano pa? Mamaya natin i-discuss yun ng masinsinan. Okay? Yung mga diagnostic test. Kasi part naman yan ng lecture talaga natin today. Now, asthma is treated by the following. We have aminophylline and theophylline. Pwede po siyang ibigay. Though not common na po siyang binibigay ngayon, theophylline. Yan. Ang aminophylline and theophylline, these are both bronchodilators. Okay? Pareho yung nakakakos ng bronchodilation at mabilis ang effect niyan. Okay? Pero kasi ang theophylline, marami siyang side effects. That's why hindi na po siya ang first line na binibigay for asthmatic attacks. Okay? Paano naman ang steroids? Ay, ito pa yung theophylline. Sorry, sinulat ko pa. Okay? Ang steroids naman, ano bang effect ng steroids? These are anti-inflammatory. And remember, di ba ang asthma, ang problem din dyan ay inflammation. Okay? Yan. Histamine antagonist, example niyan ay loratadine. So as we know, loratadine is also an antihistamine. Ayan. So basically, it can reduce the allergic reaction, okay, based on the from the asthma. Yan. Ang Montelukast naman it also has anti-inflammatory effects. Basically, it blocks the chemicals that are causing the inflammation. Okay? And last but not least, we have antibiotics. Ang antibiotics, binibigay lang yan kung may secondary infection yung patient. Okay? Kunyari, may bacterial pneumonia siya. Okay? Tapos nagka-asthmatic attack. So, doon ka lang pwede magbigay ng antibiotics. Hindi siya part ng routine management of asthma. Okay? Now, here are the following drug classes for your asthma medications. So, we have your bronchodilators. So, bronchodilators, they help relax the airway muscles to improve breathing. So, itong mga bronchodilators na to, these are usually rapid acting. Mabilis ang epekto. Okay? So, yung albuterol, salmeterol, salbutamol, theophylline, binibigay kasi mabilis ang epekto. Ang cromolyn, kailan nga lang unin natin binibigay ang cromolyn? Pag prevention. Okay? Kasi matagal ang epekto ng cromolyn compared to the bronchodilators natin. Okay? Then, we have corticosteroids. These can help reduce airway inflammation. So, example nito, you have budesonide, fluticasone, and prednisone. So, baka familiar dito yung mga asthmatic. Baka ito yung mga inhaled corticosteroids ninyo. Then we have mast cell stabilizers. So these prevent histamine release to stop asthma attacks before they start. Ayan. So yan ang ating cromolyn sodium. So it falls under mast cell stabilizers. What else for asthma medication? So you have leukotriene receptor antagonists. They block chemicals that cause airway inflammation. Okay, so we already know that. That's your Montelukast. Then anticholinergics. They prevent airway tightening by blocking acetylcholine. Okay, so example niyan ay yung ipratropium and tiotropium. Okay, ayan, so anticholinergics. However, if you're giving anticholinergics, you should watch out for dry mouth. Okay, isa yun sa pwedeng maging effect ng anticholinergics. Okay? O, ito, tandaan nyo ha. The drug of choice for prevention of asthma attack is cromolyn sodium. O, alam na natin ha, prevention, cromolyn. Okay? The drug of choice for treatment of asthma attack is theophylline. But like I said, mas prefer na po ngayon si albuterol. Okay? Albuterol. So tandaan, prevention, cromolyn, asthma attack, albuterol. Okay? So yun ang gamitin natin. Although, baka lumabas sa exam pa rin yung theophylline ha. So theophylline is still acceptable. However, just for para lang clear tayo sa guidelines, mas ginagamit na si albuterol. Okay? Ayan. Then, the drug of choice for status asthmaticus is epinephrine. Okay, balik po tayo. Okay? Ang pagpipilian, cromolyn, epinephrine, and albuterol. Sino ang for prevention? Sino? Cromolyn, albuterol, epinephrine. Okay, very good. Prevention ay cromolyn. Kapag naman status asthmaticus, cromolyn, albuterol, epinephrine. Ayan, nasa screen yung mga gaga kayo. Epi, correct. Kasi ang epi, bronchodilator din yan. Okay, very rapid ang effect. Paano naman kapag acute asthma attack? Cromolyn, epi, albuterol. Ano? This is albuterol. Very good. O, gets nyo na ha? Yan ang pagkakaiba-iba ng gamit niya. Okay? Okay. The client asked the nurse what drug will he need to bring with him for prevention of asthma attack. The nurse should respond by naming which of the following drugs. O, sabi, prevention pala, sorry. So this is, very good. Number 3, cromolyn sodium. O, gets nyo na ha? Alright. Very good, everyone. Guys, are you learning so far? Natututo po ba? Are you learning so far? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, very good, very good. Makinig ng mabuti at lalabas ito sa exam. Biglang ganun no? Yes. Okay, sige, let's continue with respiratory system. Baka nagtataka kayo guys, ma'am, bakit ngayon lang tayo nag-anatomy? Okay? Actually kasi with our system, hindi kami strictly ganun fina-follow ang format. Okay? So medyo naghahalo-halo siya, but that is may good intention yan. Kasi it makes the lecture less predictable. Parang ganyan. So, kumbaga, mas no-hold yung attention ninyo. Okay? So, di ba kanina, basic tayo, wala ka pang kaalam-alam sa airway. O di asthma. Pero alam mo na. Okay? Alam mo na may problema sa airway. Hindi ko pa di-discuss yung anatomy and physiology. Di ba? Ayan. So, proceed lang tayo. So, respiratory system, this allows the body to receive oxygen and get rid of carbon dioxide. So dito nangyayari ang gas exchange, as we all know. Okay, so gas exchange. We inhale oxygen and then we exhale carbon dioxide because carbon dioxide is a byproduct din, okay, ng ating body. So waste product. Okay? Ayan. So once again, the primary function of the respiratory system is to facilitate oxygen intake and removal of carbon dioxide. So, let's go through this one by one. So we have your nose and your nasal cavity. Anong purpose nitong ating nasal cavity and ng nose? So basically, yun yung point of entry ng hangin. It filters, it warms, and humidifies the air. Okay? Ayan. So humidify niya yung hangin bago pumasok sa ating katawan. Kaya the more na, pansinin nyo, pag the more na malamig ang panahon, or kung pumunta ka ng Baguio, or pumunta ka sa malamig na lugar, mas masakit yung ilong natin. Kasi yung skin sa loob, hindi siya maka-adapt dun sa lamig. Mas nahihirapan siya mag-humidify ng hangin. Okay? Ayan. Ano pa? We have our pharynx over here. So the pharynx, this is the shared passage for air and food. Okay? Ayan. So yun ang ating pharynx. Then down here, a bit, we have our larynx that is also known as our voice box. Kapag dumadaan siya ng hangin sa voice box natin, nagpo-produce po yan ng sound. Kaya kapag wala na yung patient na hindi mo na makausap, okay? In a sense na nagtatry siyang magsalita pero walang lumalabas na sound. Ibig sabihin yan, block yung airway niya. Okay, so kailan yan nangyayari? Yan, asthma. Masyado nang nag-constrict yung airway niya. Kapag choking incident, yan, pwede rin. Kasi wala nang dumadaloy na hangin through the larynx. Okay? Now, your larynx is also has a protective mechanism that prevents the food, okay, or foreign objects to go into your airway. Okay? So, kaya pansinin mo, kapag nagtatry ka lumunok, hindi ka rin makapagsalita, di ba? Nagpo-pause ka muna. Kaya sinasabi nila, don't eat. Mali. Don't talk when your mouth is full. Yun yung gusto kong sabihin. Okay, don't talk when your mouth is full. Kasi, pag nagsasalita ka, di bukas yung sa may yung papuntang trachea. Tapos kumakain ka, lulunok ka, di may tendency na yung food pumunta doon sa airway mo. Okay? Yan. So yun yung purpose. We want to protect our airway. Okay? Yung larynx ang responsible for that. Okay? Then we have our trachea. We have our trachea. This is our windpipe. So basically, it carries the air to the bronchi. Your trachea also contains cilia and mucus. So this can help trap any dust or yung mga nai-inhale natin na kakaiba na hindi malinis. Okay? Ayan. Ano pa? We also have here the carina. Itong parang Ito yung trachea. This one, yung parang maghahati between the right and left. That is known as the carina. Okay, carina. So that's the bifurcation between the left and the right bronchus. Okay? Ano pa? Ayan, we have our diaphragm. Okay? Our diaphragm and our intercostal muscles, they allow the expansion of the lungs. Okay? So kapag may problem ka rin sa diaphragm, that will also affect kung paano mag-expand yung lungs mo. Okay? And we also have here the pleural cavity. Itong nasa area na to. So the pleural cavity, it's a membrane lining the chest cavity and it is also filled with fluid. And the fluid, this helps reduce friction kapag tayo ay humihinga. Okay? So we will further talk about that, yung mga pleural problems kapag pumunta tayo sa RESP2 natin. Okay? So we will know when, okay, kung kailan man tayo magkakaroon ng nung RESP2. Inaayos pa namin yung schedule. But rest assured, every week naman ay merong magtuturo sa inyo. Okay? Ayan. So, the respiratory system. So, several characteristics of the respiratory system are unique to a specific age group. The tongue is larger in infants and children. Kaya kung iisipin nyo, the more na malaki yung dila ng bata, mas nag-i-increase ang risk for obstruction. Okay? Yan. So the tongue is larger in infants and children. Then the airways are smaller, less rigid, and more prone to obstruction. Kasi, ang airway ng adults, it is cylindrical. Okay? Cylindrical. Ganyan ang shape ng airway natin. Samantalang sa mga bata, more of funnel-shaped po siya. Ganyan. Okay? So, madaling magkakaroon ng obstruction kung magkakaroon man. May particles ng food, nuts, usually yan yung nagkukos or yung mga maliliit na laruan. Kaya, ang mga bata, mas kailangan ingatan ng kanilang airway. Okay? Kaya may mga toys na hindi natin ipapalo sa bata, especially those with smaller parts. Okay? Ayan. Then, children also tend to have a higher respiratory rate. Okay? Sige. So inspiration, this is the process of air moving in. Ay moving into your airway. Hindi ito yung nafe-feel mo pag nakikita mo yung crush mo. Okay, charing. Inspiration din yon, pero ibang inspiration pala siya. Gaga. Then we have the alveolus. This is the site of gas exchange. Okay, or our alveoli. So ano nangyayari? So dito nangyayari yung gas exchange natin. And this is also kapag na-damage ito, edi mag-i-impair na rin ang gas exchange natin. So for example, your patient has COPD. Ang damage kasi ng COPD is at the alveolar level. So usually dahil natatrap, nasisira itong alveoli na to, ang tendency is yung carbon dioxide natatrap. Okay, natatrap siya doon sa alveoli, hindi makalabas. Okay, so anong mangyayari? Tumataas ang carbon dioxide sa katawan ng pasyenteng may COPD. Okay, yan. Next, we have expiration. This is the process of air moving out. Now, let's take into account dito, paano naman umaano yung lungs natin? Okay, during inhalation and expiration. So, kapag expiration, pag nag-move out yung air, the diaphragm relaxes. Okay, tingnan nyo ha. Tingnan nyo. Pag nakaangat dyan yung diaphragm, that is actually relaxation of the diaphragm. Pag nag-inhale tayo, baliktad. Nagko-contract naman siya. Okay? Ayan. For a second lang guys. Ewan ko ba bakit bumagal yung ko. I'm gonna exit some... Anyway, sige, let's continue. Okay, now we have gas exchange in humans naman. Alam na natin yan, carbon dioxide. Okay, yan. So, when we inhale, so syempre yung oxygen, pupunta yan sa ating mga organs. So, it will be brought to the organs by our red blood cells. Kasi yung red blood cells natin, it contains hemoglobin, which allows the oxygen to bind to the RBC para madala siya doon sa organs. And then, once the oxygen has been consumed by our organs, magiging carbon dioxide naman ang kanilang byproduct. Yung carbon dioxide ay ibabalik sa lungs to be exhaled. Okay? Then the pleurae, hindi ko pala nabura, sorry. Okay, the pleurae are the membranes that cover the lungs and the thoracic cavity. Now, minsan yung pleurae niyan or yung pleural membrane, pwedeng magkaroon ng irritation or inflammation. Okay? Pag naging inflamed yan, pag huminga yung patient, masakit. Okay? Sometimes this is very short term. It can last a few seconds to a few minutes. Ang tawag po dyan ay pleurisy. Okay? pleurisy. Ang feeling niyan, para kang, ano siya, it's a sharp stabbing pain, especially when you are inhaling. Okay? Yan, so pleurisy. So ang nagkakos niyan, irritated yung pleura, tapos nagkakaroon ng rubbing motion. Kaya siya masakit. Okay? So that's pleurisy. What else? Ayan, so alam na natin yan. So we have 3 lobes in our right lung and then 2 lobes only in our left lung. Okay? Yan. Then the intercostal muscles, they elevate the rib cage and facilitate the intake of air by the lungs. So dapat yung intercostal muscles natin nag-expand siya with breathing. Okay? Kapag ikaw ay nag-inhale, dapat nag-expand din siya. Okay? Kaya, yung di ba muscle yan, intercostal muscle. Kaya pag ang patient ay nagkaroon ng muscular problem, especially muscular weakness. Let's say for example, your patient has this type of condition known as Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Ma'am, ano yung condition na yan? Duchenne muscular dystrophy. This is a type of condition na nakukuha ng mga lalaki. It's usually genetic, no? Tapos, ang weakness na ito ay nagsa-start from the lower limbs, tas umaakyat siya. Okay? Ayan. So, yung mga batang ito may Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Okay? Mamamatay yan sila when they reach like around 15 years of age, 20 years of age. Teenage lang ang lifespan nila. Kasi progressive yung muscle weakness and there is nothing that can be done to save the child. Mamamatay sila because of muscle weakness. Especially respiratory muscle weakness. Okay? Yan. Kaya very important ang ating intercostal muscles. Okay? Ayan. So next, ayan, we have here our alveoli. These are the grape-like structures in our heart, our lungs, where gas exchange occurs. Okay? Yan. Now let's talk about oxygen and carbon dioxide. Sige, oxygen, it supports combustion but it is not flammable. Okay? It causes an explosive like fire. What does it mean? Okay? Yan. When you say it supports combustion, it causes the fire to get bigger kapag may oxygen. Kaya kung naka-attend na ba kayo ng mga yung mga fire drill, okay? Yung mga fire drill, sinasabi ng mga ng mga fireman natin, no? You remove the oxygen from the room, okay? Kunyari, ito, in-explain sa fire drill namin recently. Kapag nagkaroon ng apoy doon sa loob ng room, tas maliit pa lang yung apoy, so syempre lumikas na kagad. And kung wala namang fire malapit dun sa mga pintuan or sa mga window, isara nyo, okay? Para ma-deprive ng oxygen yung kwarto at para mawala yung fire. Okay? Yan. So that's oxygen. Pag kasi sinabing flammable, it means it can catch fire on its own. So kunyari, alcohol. Ayan, alcohol is flammable. Gasolina, flammable yun. But it's not necessarily combustible. Okay? Oxygen comes from the ocean, 50 to 80%, and plants. Meanwhile, carbon dioxide is released from human activities. Okay? So, ito yung binabalik natin sa kalikasan. So, yung mga industrial activities natin, mga pinoproduce ng sasakyan, ayan, carbon dioxide ang napoproduce niyan. Okay? Yan. Try answering a question. Which statement best describes oxygen? Okay? Alin siyan? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Okay, oxygen. Anong description natin ng oxygen? Explosive ba siya? This is number 1. It is combustible but not explosive. It just supports yung life ng fire, pero pag tinanggal mo oxygen, mawawala din yung apoy eventually. Okay? Ayan, so another example. Naalala ko pa kasi nag-fire drill lang kami recently eh. So, kunyari, nagluluto ka, may nasusunog. Okay? So, instead na ang instinct mo ay anuhan mo ng tubig, no? Kumuha ka ng cloth or anything na pwede, or yung takip ng pan. Kunin mo yung pan at itakip mo doon sa nag-aapoy na pan. Okay? That's a way to deprive oxygen din to control the fire. O, diba? O, diba na-apply natin? Biglang naging fire drill na pala to. Hindi na pala to respiratory lecture. Okay. Continuing. The pons in the brainstem controls breathing. Ayan. So, the pons, that is the site of the brain, that controls our breathing process, particularly spontaneous breathing. Kaya kapag nagkaroon ng damage dyan sa pons, yung patient may hirapan siya na huminga on his own. Kailangan niya ng ventilator. Okay? O kunyari dyan nangyari yung stroke. Ayan. So alam mo na magkakaroon siya ng breathing issues. Okay? Yan. Now, which nursing diagnosis is the highest priority for a client with bleeding affecting the part of the brain mark B in the diagram below? O, brainstem yan ha. So, nung magiging nursing diagnosis mo? Ineffective airway clearance, ineffective breathing pattern, unilateral neglect, or impaired gas exchange. Remember ha, the brainstem controls the breathing process. This is correct number 2, ineffective breathing pattern. Okay? Ayan. So that's letter B. Then, which of the following is the priority for a client with bleeding in the brain affecting the pons? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Pons ang problema. So this is number 1. Correct. Respiration. Okay, so breathing pattern problem. Okay? Then we have the lungs. So the right main lobe is most prone to obstruction because it is wider and has more direct direction to the trachea. Kasi pag doon sa carina, okay, pag doon na sa may bifurcation, ang unang opening is actually going towards the right. Okay? Right lobe ng lung natin or the right bronchus. Okay? Kaya pag nagkaroon ng obstruction, mas mataas ang tendency pumunta doon sa right na lang. Okay? Oxygenation of blood is facilitated by the functions of the heart and the lungs. Okay, so if there are disturbances in oxygenation, it requires monitoring the cardiac and respiratory functions of the client. So kunyaring patient mo nagkaroon ng lung problem, magkakaroon din yan ng cardiac problem kasi syempre there will not be enough oxygen. To sustain the heart's function. At hindi rin enough ang mapapump out niya papunta sa mga organs. Okay? Tandaan niyo, ang respiratory system and cardiovascular system, they are very much well tied together. Okay? So last week, dun sa other class naman, ang lecture natin is cardio. Okay? Mag-alala, magka-cardio din tayo soon. Okay? So, what they learned, kapag ang patient nagkaroon ng tinatawag nating heart failure, hindi na nagko-contract ng maayos yung heart niya, very weak ang contraction. Ang pwedeng maging tendency is nagbe-build up ang fluid, not only in the heart but also in the lungs. So ganon sila ka-intertwined. Okay? Yan. Now let's talk about your lung sounds. Dito muna tayo sa mga breath sounds natin. So this is a bit of a listening activity. So makinig kayo ng mabuti, wear your earphones. Okay? Let's listen to some breath sounds, particularly adventitious sounds. So please listen to the following sounds. No? So first we have stridor.
Stridor is a particularly loud musical sound of constant pitch. Listen to this example of stridor in a child with croup. Although nothing except its intensity distinguishes stridor from a monophonic wheeze to the ear, stridor comes from obstruction of central airways such as the trachea or larynx. Wheezing is produced in more peripheral airways. Listen again to stridor.
Ayan, so that was stridor. Okay, so ano dapat ang i-highlight natin about stridor? Stridor is usually heard on inspiration. Okay? And if you hear stridor, especially in children, kailangan mo na yan dalhin sa ospital because that is a sign of obstruction sa kanyang airway. So nabanggit niya kanina yung condition na tinatawag nating croup. Okay? Croup is also known as, tatype ko na lang dito kasi mahaba, laryngotracheobronchitis. Okay? Laryngotracheobronchitis, ganyan siya kahaba. There is inflammation of the upper airway, particularly the larynx and the trachea, and then bronchi, sa bronchi. Inflamed yang lahat ng yan. Okay? Kaya yan magpo-produce ng ganyang sound. And once again, stridor is usually heard on inspiration. Okay? Next, we
Stridor.
have wheezing. Ito naman ang wheezing. Pakinggan niyo ang difference.
Listen now to the sound of wheezing. A wheeze, sometimes called a rhoncus, is a musical pulmonary sound. The musical character is determined by the spectrum of frequencies that make up the sound. The lowest frequency, called the fundamental, sets the pitch of the wheeze. Wheezes may be described as high-pitched, in which case they are also called sibilant rhonchi, or low-pitched, in which case they are also called sonorous rhonchi. Listen to a high-pitched wheeze.
Ayan, so that was wheezing. Now, ang wheezing naman, kailan natin to usually naririnig? Kung sa stridor, we usually hear it on inspiration. Ang wheezing, we usually hear it upon expiration. Okay? So, ang wheezing naririnig natin for patients with asthma. Okay? Ayan.
Listen now.
Next, we have crackles. Okay, let's try to listen.
Crackles are short, explosive, non-musical sounds. They may be classified as high or low-pitched. High-pitched crackles are also called fine crackles. Low-pitched crackles are also called coarse crackles. Listen now to high-pitched crackles.
Ayan, so yun naman yung crackles. So kailan ba natin usually naririnig ang crackles? It is a sign of pulmonary congestion. So for example, your patient has a condition known as pulmonary edema. Kunyari, patient may heart failure, nagkaroon ng build-up of fluid, and eventually yung fluid na yun ay nag-build up din sa lungs. So that can be a manifestation, crackles. So tandaan nyo sa crackles, pulmonary congestion. Okay? It can happen either with inspiration or expiration. Okay? Walang specific. Okay? And then last, we have your pleural friction rub for our listening exercise.
Listen to a pleural friction rub. The smooth, moist layers of the normal pleura move easily and silently over one another. But when the surface is thickened by fibrin deposits or coarsened by inflammatory neoplastic cells, the sliding motion is impeded by frictional resistance. The sound produced, the pleural friction rub, resembles the sound of leather sliding on leather. Listen again to a pleural friction rub.
Ayan. Tapos yun naman ang ating pleural friction rub. So usually naririnig natin ito if the patient has pleural issues. Ayan. And usually if the patient has pleural friction rub, nagkukos din ito ng pain. Okay? Ayan. So, let's try to summarize what we learned from the listening activity din. So, once again, this is the normal. Dito muna tayo sa abnormal. Balikan natin yung normal maya-maya. So, inspiration. Ayan, narinig natin ulit. Dito pwede natin marinig is stridor. Okay, crackles could also be heard on inspiration, but in reality, you can either hear it on inspiration or expiration. Tandaan niyo yung I sa stridor, that will stand for inspiration. Expiration naman, tingnan niyo merong dalawang E. So, kailan niyo siya maririnig? Expiration. Okay? Ayan. So, ang crackles, kaya nagpo-produce siya ng popping sound. This is because this is produced by when the air comes in contact with the fluid, with the excess fluid in the lungs. Kaya nagkakaroon ng popping sound. Okay? Ang wheezing naman, this is caused by the closing of the airway. Okay? Ayan. Then we have stridor. This is more of upper airway obstruction. And stridor tends to have a more higher pitch. Ang pleural friction rub naman, wala dito sa screen natin. Pleural friction rub, it sounds like a grating sound. It can also sound like a rubber-like sound, parang goma. Ayan, so ganun siya. Goma na pinupul. Ayan. Ano pa? Ito naman yung ating normal na mga normal na breath sounds. So, in the upper airway, we have tracheal and bronchial sounds. Okay? Tracheal and bronchial sounds. So mamaya assess natin, to check natin kung saan ba sila usually naririnig. For the lower airway, we have bronchovesicular and vesicular sounds. Okay? Yan. So lower airway, bronchovesicular and vesicular. So the location of your normal breath sounds, sa trachea natin, it's over the trachea. Actually, it's in front of our neck. Okay? Ang ating tracheal sounds. Then, ang ating bronchial sound is over here sa manubrium. Okay? Sorry, dito pala. Sorry, hindi dyan. Dito, sa ating manubrium. Okay? Bronchial sound dito. At the base of the neck, to be specific, ang bronchial sound. Then, we have bronchovesicular sound. So, bababa ka lang dito ka sa gilid ng konti. First and second ICS. Okay? Bronchovesicular. And then, we have vesicular. So, in the rest of our lung fields, or the base of the lungs, maririnig mo ang vesicular. Okay? So ito ang ating usual sounds where we can hear it. So once again, tracheal dito sa midline ng neck. Ang bronchial is over here at our manubrium. Bronchovesicular, first and second ICS. And the vesicular sounds are for the rest of our lung fields. Okay? So, let's have this question. While performing the respiratory assessment on a patient, the client auscultates for normal breath sounds. The nurse would expect to hear bronchial breath sounds in which anatomical area? So you have 1, 2, 3, or 4. O tandaan, saan ba ang ating bronchial breath sounds naririnig? Sa base of the neck or our manubrium. Alin? Saan dyan ang base of the neck mo? This is... Okay, correct. This is number 2. Alright, that is number 2. Yung number 3 kasi, that's already in the first and second ICS. Medyo mababa na siya. Ang number 4, that is for the vesicular sound. Okay? Ayan. So, what about this one? The best strategy to use when auscultating the breath sounds of the toddler is to blank. Okay. Now, if you are trying to assess a young child or a toddler, no? Kailangan mag-facilitate ka ng play. Bakit? Kasi mga bata, natural, natatakot yan sa kanilang hospital environment. Lalo na, ikaw ay foreign sa kanila. Lalo na pag ikaw ay gumamit ng stethoscope, syempre ilalagay mo yan sa chest nila. For them, it can feel invasive. O ngayon, paano ka ngayon mag-auscultate? By facilitating play. Okay? O ano, paano mo gagawin? 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay, number 4. Ask him to blow a cotton ball across the room while auscultating the lungs. Okay, ayan. So may encourage din siya mag-deep breathing kasi hihipan niya para mapalipad yung cotton ball. Okay? Yan. Let's have the following na adventitious sounds. We have a hyperresonance on percussion. So this could be indicative of emphysema. Okay? Kapag may hyperresonance on percussion, it means na masyadong maraming air that is trapped in the lungs. So hindi laging maganda na sobrang daming air sa lungs natin. Okay? Ayan. So in emphysema kasi, in emphysema, ang nangyayari dito, yung alveoli damage na siya. hindi na nga makapag-perform ng gas exchange. So yung alveoli napupuno lang ng napupuno ng air. Hindi nakakalabas yung excess. Kaya nagiging hyperresonant yung sound. Okay? Then we have wheezing or what we know also as sibilant bronchi. Kapag lalong tumataas yung pitch ng wheezing, it means mas nagiging worse yung wheezing. Okay? Or mas lalong nagiging worse yung condition. Tapos anong pwedeng maging final complication yan? Biglang wala ka nang marinig. Okay? So that's what you can hear in asthma. Okay? Lalo kung nagpo-progress. Then we have crepitus. Ano yung crepitus? This is, madedetect mo yan sa upon palpation. Okay? Usually, this is felt in patients who have chest tubes. Okay? Naka-chest tube siya. So may naka-insert na chest tube dito sa tagiliran niya. Okay, tapos nakakonect yan sa pleural space. So may tendency kasi na may air na pumasok in between the skin. Okay? Yan. So yun yung tinatawag nating subcutaneous emphysema. Now, kailangan mo dyang i-assess kung may subcutaneous emphysema siya, i-check mo yung area around the insertion of the chest tube. Kung meron kang nafe-feel na parang popping sound. Okay? O parang may pumuputok under the skin. So, minsan normal siya kung hindi naman lumalaki. Pero pag lumalaki, that is reportable. Okay? So that's subcutaneous emphysema. And lastly, you have crackles, also known as rales. That's the old term for it. So this is associated with heart failure. So nabanggit ko na kanina, kaya nagkakaroon ng crackles because in heart failure, particularly left-sided heart failure, nagkakaroon ng pulmonary congestion. Okay? So crackles. Ayan. Sa abnormal breath sounds, ano pa pwede nating malaman? So crackles, ang cause ulit nito is fluid in the lungs. This could also be caused by atelectasis and interstitial fibrosis. Rhonchi, this is caused by secretions in the larger airways. Okay, so rhonchi, this also is wheezing, no? And then, we have, wheezes. So we have narrowed airways, asthma, bronchitis, and COPD. Sorry, yung rhonchi pala, this is a low-pitched snoring sound. Okay? Ayan. And ang rhonchi, like wheezing, it's also heard more on expiration. Okay? Yan. Hyperresonance or percussion is normal in children and indicates ruptured diaphragm in adults. So, may normal ang hyperresonance sa bata because they have a thinner chest wall. But in older adults, that could indicate a ruptured diaphragm. Kasi ang nangyari dyan, di ba sa ilalim ng diaphragm, mga ano mo na yan mga organs mo na yan in the abdominal cavity. So pag nagka-hyperresonance bigla, ibig sabihin nag-migrate pataas yung organs mo dito above the diaphragm. So that is what could have caused the hyperresonance. Okay? Okay. Sige. An outstanding characteristic of normal breath sounds include, alin? Normal breath sounds ha? Popping, wheezing, rumbling, or quiet. Anong tamang sagot? Normal breath sounds only. Popping, wheezing, rumbling, or quiet. Ano bang normal? Guys, what's normal? Pag normal breath sounds. This is, normal breath sound ha, normal. Walang adventitious. So this is number 4, quiet po. Ibig sabihin, gush of air lang dapat maririnig mo. Okay, baka yung iba kasi naisip quiet, di wala ka nang narinig. Okay, ibig sabihin lang yan, gush of air lang maririnig mo, walang iba. Okay? So, once again, for assessment of breath sounds, normal natin ang tracheal, bronchial, bronchovesicular, and vesicular. Abnormal adventitious, you have crackles or rales, wheezing, stridor, rhonchi, and pleural friction rub. So, let's have an exercise. Just say abnormal, normal, or abnormal. Ito. Tracheal, normal or abnormal? Okay, very good. Tracheal is normal. What about wheezing? Wheezing is abnormal. Very good. Kailan naririnig? Inspiration, expiration. Ang wheezing. Inspiration, expiration. It's heard during expiration. Very good. Then we have bronchial sound. Normal, abnormal. Bronchial sound, normal, abnormal. Okay, this one is normal. What about crackles? Crackles ay abnormal. Correct. What about bronchovesicular? Bronchovesicular, this is normal. Ilang intercostal space ito naririnig? What ICS? It's 1 to 2. Correct. Very good. And last, you have vesicular. Vesicular is normal. Okay, very good, everyone. Now, let's have musical and non-musical. Okay? So musical, dito natin malalaman, basically this is high-pitched or low-pitched. Okay? So we have stridor and wheezing. So yeah, so as we know, the more na nag-increase yung pitch, the higher pitch it gets, no? It means mas lalong nagiging obstructed yung airway. So that's a red flag that you have to report. Okay? Non-musical, we have crackles. Although nasabi kanina dun sa example, may high-pitch crackles and low-pitch crackles. Hindi ganun ka-distinct yung change ng pitch niya compared to stridor and wheezing na maririnig mo kaagad na high or low pitch siya. Okay? So for next exercise, say musical or non-musical. Crackles. Crackles. Musical, non-musical, this is none. What about wheezing? Wheezing is musical. Correct. Okay? Ayan. Tapos dito naman tayo sa high and low pitch. Okay? Sa high pitch, this is wheezing and stridor. Okay? Kasi pag mataas ang pitch ng nung adventitious breath sounds na naririnig mo, it means that the obstruction is in the upper airway. Okay? More of the upper airway. So it's either the tracheal or the bronchial. Okay? Pag lower pitch naman, it means the obstruction is at the lower airway. Okay? Yan, lower airway. Okay? So, ang high pitch natin, you have wheezing and stridor. Low pitch, you have rhonchi and crackles. Okay? Ayan. Now, in normal breath sounds, sino si high pitch? Okay? Sino si high pitch? O ano ba yung nasa upper airway natin na normal? You have tracheal and bronchial. Okay? Tracheal and bronchial, they both produce high-pitched sounds. Ang bronchovesicular, this is moderate kasi nasa gitna siya eh. A moderate pitch. Ano naman ang low pitch? Okay, pwede ring bronchovesicular, pwede ring vesicular kasi nasa lower part na sila ng airway. Okay? Now, ma'am, paano kaya assess tong pitches na ito? Okay? You need to use the stethoscope, of course. Aling part ng stethoscope? Ang high pitch, okay, gamitin mo dyan ang diaphragm. Okay, so for the upper airway, it's best to use the diaphragm. So, yeah, because it can pick up on the higher pitches. Pag lower pitches naman, gamitin mo ang bell. Okay? But what is recommended? Gamitin mo both for your whole respiratory assessment. Okay? Bakit? Para wala kang ma-miss out. Okay? Kasi baka may adventitious breath sound kang marinig sa diaphragm, sa bell wala, or vice versa. Okay? Ayan. So, tandaan ha, sa normal, na high pitch of tracheal and bronchial, basta upper airway. Low pitch, bronchovesicular and vesicular. Moderate, pwedeng bronchovesicular. Okay? Sige, now, let's say high or low pitch. So, sabihin niyo lang high or low. Sige. Wheezing, high or low? Wheezing is high. Very good. Pag wheezing, high pitch siya, anong pwede mong gamitin? Diaphragm or bell? Diaphragm or bell? Diaphragm. Correct. Best to use the diaphragm. What about crackles? High or low? Okay, ito naman ay low. What about vesicular? Normal naman ito. High or low? Vesicular is low. Correct. Kasi 'di ba ang vesicular sa base of lung fields na siya. Tama. Si Miss Jana. Okay lang yan. Ayan, sige. Ito naman. Pag reportable or non-reportable. Kailangan, ang reportable, syempre, kapag yung normal breath sounds nag-migrate sa ibang lugar. Saan nga ulit dapat naririnig ang bronchial breath sounds, di ba? Over the manubrium. Okay? But if you hear the bronchial breath sounds at the base of the lungs, so ibig sabihin, kung saan mo dapat naririnig ang vesicular sounds mo, ang narinig mo high pitch. Okay? Baka yun yung bronchial sound. That is reportable. Anong ibig sabihin nun? It means the patient possibly has pneumonia. Okay? And again, itong bullet na to, if you hear the bronchial sounds at the base of the lungs, this could indicate the patient has pneumonia. Okay? Yan. Sudden absence of wheezing. O, nasabi natin yan kanina. If there's sudden absence of wheezing, it means the airway has totally closed up. Okay, so it's reportable. Ang non-reportable, bronchial sounds at the base of the neck. Kasi di ba yan naman ang normal na location ng bronchial breath sounds. Okay? Next. So next naman, we say reportable or not reportable. Let's check. Bronchial sounds are heard on the neck area or on the base of the neck. Saan to? This is not reportable. Very good. Bronchial sounds are at the base of the lungs. Bronchial sound at the base of the lungs, correct. This one is reportable. This is indicative of what condition? What condition? Yes, pneumonia. Okay, what about sudden absence of wheezing in a client with asthma? Reportable, not reportable? Okay, reportable. It indicates full obstruction. Okay? Ayan, reels on inspiration. When you say reels, this is also the same as crackles. So, okay, mag-alala dyan. We have pneumonia, emphysema, and atelectasis. Okay, so these could cause crackles on inspiration. Okay? Ito. Let's also have this one. Decreased or absent breath sounds. This indicates this condition, pneumothorax or pleural effusion. So when you say pneumothorax, mataas ang pressure sa pleural space ng patient. Okay? Mataas ang pressure kasi may excess na air. Okay? So nangyayari, parang naiipit yung mismong loob ng lungs, okay? Because of the increased pressure in the pleural space, so hindi siya makapag-expand ng maayos. Kaya ka nagkakaroon ng decreased or absent breath sounds. Okay? Yan. Pag pleural effusion naman, kung pneumothorax, ang napuno ay, ang masyadong marami is air in the pleural space. Pleural effusion naman, pwedeng fluid. Okay? Masyado namang maraming fluid sa pleural space. So, mag-increase yung pressure sa lungs, konti lang din ang papasok na hangin. Okay? Ma'am, paano kung blood? Anong tawag doon? Hemothorax. Okay? That's what you call hemothorax. Alright? Next. For descriptions and documentations. Okay? So let's basahin lang natin ito. So description and term matching type. So ang nagpo-produce ng crackling sound, this is your crackle. So that's letter E. Rumbling sound, this is produced by the friction rub or pleural friction rub. This could also be known as yung parang rubber na sound. Bubbling sound, this is letter A. This could be your rhonchi. Grating is friction rub. Ay, ano ba sabi ko? Rumbling. Totoo ba? Rumbling is wheezing. You know what? I think maguguluhan lang tayo sa slide na to. Disregard. Burahin nyo na lang sa memory nyo. Alam na natin ang na-discuss natin. Medyo may mali doon sa may mali doon sa choices. Okay, anyway. Documentation of assessment findings. So characteristics of lung sounds. If there is cracking or popping, label it as crackles. So alam na natin yan. If there is moaning, rumbling, groaning, and na musical sound, we label it as wheezing. Okay? So kanina nung nakinig din pala tayo ng wheezing, no? Parang may rumbling sound din tayo naririnig yung sa listening activity natin. Mansin nyo malakas yung wheezing niya. If there is bubbling, this is your rhonchi. Squeaking or grating, this is pleural friction rub. Okay? Yung squeaking or grating sound. And crowing noise upon inspiration, this is your stridor. Okay. Now, question. Ma'am, between stridor and wheezing, sino ang mas delikado sa bata? It is actually stridor. O, tandaan yan ha. Between stridor and wheezing, sino mas delikado sa bata? Stridor. Stridor is seen as a life-threatening breath sound. Diba kanina ang example natin yung croak, laryngotracheobronchitis. So that causes very severe inflammation in the upper airway. So mas mabilis itong mag-lead to obstruction. Okay, I'll also give you an example. Kung familiar kayo sa IMCI natin, okay, IMCI stands for Integrated Management of Childhood Illnesses. So ito, ginagamit ito sa mga primary health facilities natin. For example, in the RHU, in the barangay health station. So ito, ang pwedeng gumamit nitong algorithm na to, mga barangay health worker, mga nurses who are working in the barangay health station, when they are checking for a child with cough, kapag may nakita nila or narinig nila na merong stridor yung bata, this is considered as a danger sign. Okay? At pag meron siyang danger sign, ang kailangan gawin ay i-refer agad, dalhin sa ospital. Okay? Stridor. Ma'am, paano kung wheezing? Okay? Pumasok yung bata may wheezing. Under IMCI guidelines, hindi siya kailangan i-ER agad. Okay? Pwede lang siyang bigyan ng bronchodilator and then pag na-relieve na yung wheezing through the bronchodilator, tsaka siya pwedeng i-continue i-assess. Ma'am, paano kung hindi na-relieve yung wheezing? Di dalhin mo na sa ospital. Okay? Ayan. So, tandaan nyo, stridor is more dangerous and life-threatening than wheezing in children. Okay? Now, let's have your breathing patterns. So, first we have apneustic breathing pattern. So, tapos na tayo sa breath sounds. Now, let's go to breathing pattern. Pag apneustic, this is characterized by a deep gasping inspiration with a pause at full inspiration followed by a brief insufficient release. So, nangyayari, nag-inhale yung patient, nagpo-pause and then sigh. Hindi siya expiration, para siyang sigh. Okay? This is usually associated with a problem in the patient's pons. Okay? Yan, it's a pons problem. Okay? Yan, di ba ang pons natin yan ang respiratory center of the brain? And patients who have apneustic breathing, this is common with patients who are ventilated, naka-mechanical ventilator. Okay? So I'll give you a short video on apneustic breathing. So tingnan niyo kung gaano ka-irregular yung breathing niya.
So good.
Ayan, inhale, pause, then sigh, then inhale ulit. Ayan, so ganun ang ating apneustic breathing. Okay? Ayan. So as you can see, naka-mechanical ventilator din yung pasyente. Okay, so once again, nag-i-inhale sila, then pause, matagal na pause, and then sigh. Then inhale ulit. That's apneustic breathing. Okay, then we have Bayot's breathing. Okay, hindi yung kaibigan mong bakling. Okay. Bayot, iba palang bayot yun. Happy pride. Anyway, Bayot's breathing, this involves groups of quick, shallow inspirations followed by regular or irregular periods of apnea. Ang Bayot's breathing naman, this is caused by damage to the medulla oblongata. So, that's also part of the brainstem. Actually, medulla natin. Okay, ang ating Bayot's breathing. So, it can look like this. Ang video. Okay, this is a video. Kala mo nag-ano lang siya, nag-release lang siya ng shoulder. But what's happening here is, nagkakaroon ng shallow breathing, mabilis lang na shallow breaths, then may matagal na apnea. Okay? Yan. So it's quick shallow breaths followed by apnea. Bayot's breathing, usually nangyayari ito sa patients na ayan, may problema sa medulla, so pwedeng na stroke siya, pwedeng na aksidente, yun ang part na na-damage. This could also be caused by increased ICP, intracranial pressure. This could also be caused by opioid overdose. Ayan. So certain drugs, if you take it too much, it can also alter your respiratory patterns. Okay? Then we have Kane-Stokes breathing. Okay? Ang Kane-Stokes breathing, meron tayong tinatawag na waxing and waning na breathing. And it is followed by apnea. So mapapansin mo, mag-i-increase yung depth ng kanyang breathing, then magde-decrease, and then biglang hindi siya hihinga. Then uulit, increase, then decrease, then walang hinga. Okay? Yan. Ang cause din ng Kane-Stokes breathing can also be part of the brainstem. So tingnan nyo yung pattern. Lahat ng ineffective breathing patterns natin, lahat sila can be caused by brainstem problem. Okay? Kane-Stokes breathing can also be seen in patients who are dying. Okay? Yan. So this is an example of Kane-Stokes breathing. Ayan, that's the waxing and waning. Uulit siya. That's the waxing, paghina, waning, and then apnea. Okay, so yun yung Kane-Stokes breathing. Ma'am, anong kaibahan ni Kane-Stokes breathing sa Bayot's breathing? Both of them have shallow breathing. Pansinin nyo. Okay? Pero si Cane-Stokes breathing lang ang may waxing and waning. Si Biot's breathing, wala siyang specific pattern. Okay? So may shallow breathing, then biglang mawawala, apnea, and then uulit siya. Okay? Pero yung speed, okay, or yung pattern, nag-iiba-iba siya. Okay? Alam mo lang may shallow breathing, then it will be followed by apnea. Okay? Then we have Kussmaul's breathing. Okay? Kussmaul's breathing is a deep and labored breathing pattern often associated with severe metabolic acidosis. Ito yung sinabi ko kanina, it is associated with diabetic ketoacidosis. Because if you have diabetic ketoacidosis, tumataas ang acid levels mo because of the excess sugar in your body. Okay? So your body will try to blow off the excess acid. Ano ba yung acid na gusto niya sanang ma-blow off? CO2. Okay? The problem is, hindi naman excess CO2 ang problema sa patient kasi meron siya metabolic acidosis na respiratory acidosis. Okay? Kaya, ang nagiging tendency, binibilisan niya yung paghinga niya. So that is Kussmaul's breathing. So once again, it's manifested by deep and labored breathing. Okay? And ito ang kanyang itsura. Ayan. So that is Kussmaul's breathing. Tandaan nyo ha, sa DKA or metabolic acidosis, siya usually nakikita. Okay? Teka, tingin lang ako ng question. Okay, so let's have this one. So tingnan natin kung masasagutan natin. So the nurse would determine that a client is experiencing Cane-Stokes breathing when he has blank. Okay, so diba sabi natin Cane-Stokes breathing, nagkakaroon ng tinatawag nating waxing and waning. Okay? So, ang tamang sagot dito would be, gaga siya, nawala. Okay. Okay. So, ang tamang sagot po dito is number 1. Periods of hyperpnea alternating with periods of apnea. Okay, when you say apnea, this is deep breathing. Okay? So, nag-alternate yung deep breathing with apnea. Okay? Pero hindi siya nagkakaroon ng takip niya. Kasi normal ang rate dito sa Cane-Stokes breathing. Magugulat ka, normal ang RR niyan. Pero pagdating sa Kussmaul's, mataas ang kanyang respiratory rate. So meron siyang takip niya. Okay? Ayan. So that's Cane-Stokes breathing. Tandaan nyo rin, waxing and waning. Okay. Let's have this one. Kaya naman ang magsagot. Percussion is usually performed on clients with respiratory problems. The primary purpose of this procedure is to, ano ba yung percussion? O kunyari yung tapping motion doon sa likod ng patient. So what is it used for? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Bakit tayo naggagawa ng percussion? Oh my gosh, Mary Abigail ka rin pala. Wow, ngayon lang ako nakakita ng Mary Abigail din. Twin, where have you been? Ganun. Biglang ganun no? O ano na, anong sagot? Okay, this is number 3. Loosen pulmonary secretions. Ayan, very good. So, ang chest physiotherapy, di ba yun ang ginagawa natin? The tapping motion using cupped hands on the patient's back para malusin yung secretions and para ma-expectorate niya. And we also want to do postural drainage after the percussion. Postural drainage, the head of the patient should be lower than the chest. Para by gravity, doon, mas mabilis makakalabas yung secretions doon sa lungs ng patient. Okay? Okay, ito. Upon auscultation, the nurse hears abnormal breaths that are high-pitched, creaking, and accentuated on expiration. Which term best describes these data? O sige, bronchi wheezing, pleural friction rub, or bronchovesicular? Abnormal breaths. O dapat may tatanggalin ka na dyan sa choices. Okay? Number 2, correct. This is wheezing. Tingnan nyo, high-pitched, tapos expiration naririnig. Wheezing. Very good. Next. The presence of bronchial breath sounds in the lower part of the chest indicates, ano yan? Bronchial breath sounds in the lower part of the chest. Correct. Number 1, that is pneumonia. Okay, next. Bronchial breath sounds are best heard using which part of the stethoscope? O isipin mo muna, is this in the upper airway or lower airway? O, bago mo anuhin. Anong best mong gagamitin dyan? Okay, correct. This is number 1, the diaphragm. Kasi di ba Bronchial breath sounds are part of the upper airway, or bronchial sounds are part of the upper airway, and diaphragm is best used for high-pitched sounds, which is sa upper airway natin. Correct. Next. Which nursing diagnosis is of highest priority for client with abnormal breath sounds? Fluid volume deficit, impaired gas exchange, ineffective airway clearance, or altered breathing pattern? Abnormal breath sounds ha. Breath sounds. Breath sounds. Yung mga breath sounds natin, yung mga wheezing, stridor, ano pa, crackles, hindi yan breathing pattern, guys. Yung breathing pattern yan, yung Kussmaul's, Bayot's breathing, anong pwede. Okay, this is, nag-iba-iba yung sagot. Ang sagot dito is number 3, ineffective airway clearance. Example, wheezing, di ba? Pag may wheezing ka, possible cause yan is asthma. Okay? So may ineffective airway clearance ka sa asthma kasi namumuo din yung mucus. Okay? Sa stridor naman, di ba? Unti-unting nagko-constrict yung airway because of, let's say, croup. Ayan. Okay? Okay, anyway. Dito naman tayo sa terms to remember. So just a few slides more, guys, bago ako magpa-short break. Okay? Ayan. So dito tayo sa tidal volume. This refers to the amount of air that goes in and out of the lungs with each respiration. So ang nating normal na tidal volume is 400 to 500 ml lang. Alam ko lumabas to sa pretest. So if you answer 400 to 500, then you are correct. Okay, so yung tidal volume, this can be measured through relaxed breathing only. Normal inhale and exhale. So that is, by exchange, we inhale or exhale around 400 to 500 ml. Okay. Next, we have vital capacity. This refers to the amount of air that can be expelled from the lungs after maximum inhalation. Okay? So basically, vital capacity, this is the amount of air that you can hold in while inhaling at maximum. As in yung ganon. Tapos, hold mo yan. Okay? Yung pag-hold mo na yan, yung dami ng air na nasa lungs na na-inhale mo, that is the vital capacity. So, that is around 4.8 liters. Okay, so basically, big inhale and then big exhale ka. Okay, so that's to measure the vital capacity, 4.8 liters. Okay? Sample question. A clinical instructor asks one student what is meant by tidal volume. That student is correct if he says blank. It is the maximum volume of air that can be expelled after maximum inhalation, volume of air that remains in the lungs after forceful exhalation, volume of air inhaled and exhaled with normal quiet breathing, amount of oxygen that enters the lungs. Tidal volume. This is number 3. Very good. Okay, yan. Normal quiet breathing. And check natin lang dyan ay tidal volume. Okay? Ayan. So, we are halfway into our lecture. So, 1 hour and 15 minutes tayo also into our discussion. So, let's have a short break. No? So, magsaset na lang po ako ng timer for 10 minutes.